All of creation rightly gives God praise, for all life, all holiness comes to us from Jesus Christ by the working of His Holy Spirit. Let's make sure we take time out of our day this day, recognize all of creation God's made for our enjoyment, and give Him thanks. This is from an email sent Wednesday, May 21st, 2003, 5:47 in the morning. Subject, love and affection. This is an excerpt from a book titled The Holy Longing, The Search for Christian Spirituality by Ronald Rolheiser. I believe it's available on Amazon for a reasonable price. Ronald Rolheiser is a PhD. He's past president of the Oblate School of Theology in San Antonio, Texas, and it's my understanding he currently works there as a professor. This book was given to me around 2004 by a priest that I met in a bookstore one day. And it's a book that addresses a lot of contemporary issues. One evening, Jesus was at dinner. This dinner, it seems, was a rather lavish one. At one point, a woman with a bad reputation in the town enters carrying an alabaster jar of spikenard ointment. Both the jar and the ointment are very expensive. Alabaster was the Waterford crystal of the time, and spikenard was a very expensive perfume. She breaks the jar, a wasteful act, but one signifying how deeply she loves Jesus and how much she wants this giving to be a singular thing. Then she pours the perfume on him, and its aroma permeates the room. Finally, she cries, and her tears wash Jesus' feet, and she dries his feet with her hair. It is hard to paint a scene that is as crass in its depiction of raw affection. That rawness was not lost on the original audience. The evangelists say that people in the room began to grow uncomfortable, as well they might, and as we would in a similar situation. Some began to voice objections to what was happening. A few objected to the fact that Jesus, who was supposed to be a holy man, was letting a woman with a bad reputation touch him. That, however, was not the main objection, nor was it discomfort. What was making those present uncomfortable was something that also makes us uneasy: raw gift, lavish, gratuitous affection. Those present voiced their discomfort by pointing to waste and excess. What wastefulness! That jar and ointment could have been sold, and the money could have been given to the poor. Jesus, however, answered the objection by completely affirming what the woman had done and telling his uneasy, objective hosts, "Leave her alone. She has done a good thing. The poor you will always have with you, but you won't always have me. She has just anointed me for my impending death." That is the key line. Jesus told his hosts that this woman had just helped ready him for death. What did he mean by that? There are levels of meaning here. One of those, however, is brilliantly captured by John Powell in a short book he wrote some years ago entitled Unconditional Love. It contains within it a story of a young man, Tommy, one of Powell's students, who is 24 years of age and dying of cancer. At one stage before his death, Tommy comes to Powell and shares with him that he feels there are worse tragedies in life than dying young. I quote part of their conversation. "What's it like to be only 24 and dying?" "Well, it could be worse." "Like what?" Well, like being 50 and having no values or ideals. Like being 50 and thinking that booze, seducing women, and making money are the real biggies in life. The essential sadness is to go through life without loving, but it would be almost equally sad to go through life and leave this world without ever telling those you loved that you loved them. From the mouth of a dying young man, we hear the great truth. There are only two potential tragedies in life, and dying young is not one of them. What is tragic is to go through life without loving and without expressing love and affection toward those whom we do love. With that truth in hand, let us return to Jesus' comment that someone had just anointed him for his impending death. What Jesus is saying, in effect, might be paraphrased this way: when I come to die, I will be more ready for death, because tonight, of all nights in my life, I'm experiencing the reason this universe was made: the giving and receiving of love and affection. Pure gift. This is the moment to die for. There is great irony here. If this woman had gone to Jesus' grave with this outpouring of affection and perfume, it would have been accepted, even admired. You were allowed to anoint a dead body, but it was not acceptable to express similar love and affection to a live one. Nothing has changed in 2,000 years. We still save our best compliments and flowers for the funeral. Jesus' challenge here is for us to anoint each other while we are still alive. Shower those you love with affection and flowers while they are alive, not at their funerals. Isn't it true when you go to a viewing at a funeral or a burial, it seems like there's lots of flowers? And I understand people can't go. They send flowers to show their sympathy for the family. I understand. But why don't we send flowers to people when they're alive? Why is it always after they're departed? That's the custom we have come to. And you know, there's a more deeper meaning when you buy flowers or some special gift for your loved one, your spouse. And it's not just that they have flowers when they come home or flowers on the table. It shows that when you were at the store purchasing those, you were thinking about them. So it's the thought that counts, and we have the flowers to remind us of that. So when we see the gift that somebody brings us, let's remember that when they purchased it, they were thinking of us. I'll finish today with the reading from 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 8. Above all, maintain the fervor of your love for one another, because love covers a multitude of sins. Thank you for your time this day, my sisters and brothers. May God bless you and your families. May there be peace on earth. With God's help, may we meet again tomorrow.